everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I will be talking about adaptation news. It's actually been a really long time since I've talked about any book to TV or movie news. I used to do my on topic videos, which I did every single month, and I talked about book, TV, and movie news. I will link a playlist to all of those videos down below. I don't do them anymore just because it became very time consuming and I felt like I always had to pay attention to a lot of things. And then I did a whole adaptation video about a year ago, which I think I just talked about mainly romance adaptations that were happening. I will also link that video down below. From any of the previous news that I've talked about, I don't think there's any new recent updates. Unless there is, definitely let me know. There's for sure some adaptations that I'm going to completely forget talking about just because it's been so long and I feel like I haven't really gathered a lot of information over the last year. So definitely let me know of some other adaptations that I didn't talk about that maybe I forgot about, or some that you're interested in as well. All of my sources and information will be linked down below. Anything that you want to know extra about the adaptations, I will have all of the sources. I am pre-filming this about a week before it goes up, which I'm kind of scared that there's going to be some last minute news that's going to get announced and I'm going to want to include it in this video. But obviously if anything comes up, I will talk about it later on. I am going to try to do these type of videos more often next year. I kind of want to do them maybe every 3 months or maybe every 4 months, something like that. I love talking about adaptations, specifically like romance adaptations. So I want to try to do this type of video more in 2023 and to keep up with more news. For today's video, I'm just talking about adaptations that I am interested in or that I'm curious about and books that I've read. Obviously, this is not all the adaptations in the world. These are mainly romance and some YA adaptations that I wanted to talk about. I guess that's kind of it. We have a lot to talk about. There is genuinely a lot. I'm going to go with the romance adaptations first, and then I have some YA adaptations, and then I'm going to talk about all of the passionflix stuff. I was going to talk about stuff that is coming out in 2023, but I honestly don't think I'll have enough time. There's so much to talk about, so I'm going to try to go through everything quickly, but still give you a decent amount of information. So let's finally get into the video. The first 6 adaptations that I'm talking about are all romance books. So It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey is becoming a movie. BCDF Pictures and Frolic Media are producing this movie. Christina Mengert, who did The Hating Game, and Joseph Mosinski, who is working on a adaptation of The Unhoneymooners, are adapting the book together. I haven't read this book by Tessa Bailey. I've heard good things about it. I have read, I think like maybe 4 or 5 of Tessa's books, but I just don't really vibe with her writing style. But I might actually read this if it eventually becomes a movie. The Winston Brothers series by Penny Reid is being adapted for a TV show. This is the first book, Truth or Beard, but the whole series was optioned for TV by Tomorrow Studios, which is an ITV Studios partnership for television. Marty Aldestein and Becky Clemens are going to produce the show. There's no streamer or network attached to the show just yet, but from Marty and Becky's previous work, they have worked with Apple TV Plus. So it could end up going there. Obviously that's not for sure, but they've worked with Apple before. I love this series. I am very, very curious to see how this is going to be a TV show. I kind of have visions that it'll be a little bit like Virgin River. I feel like it'll kind of give me those vibes, but obviously a little bit more romance heavy. I cannot wait to see who they cast. It's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to find 6 men that kind of look similar or that have beards, but I can't wait to see what happens with this TV show. The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armaz is becoming a movie. BCDF Pictures is going to produce the movie. Peter Hutchings will adapt the movie. He actually directed the Hating Game movie. It's unclear whether he will also direct the Spanish Love Deception, but I know he is writing the screenplay. I still have not seen the Hating Game movie, so I don't know really how that movie turned out. Like, I heard mixed things about it. I heard some people really enjoyed it and then some people felt about it, but obviously people from that production team are wanting to work on other romance adaptations, which I do think is great. I want more romance stories to be told. Not necessarily adaptations. I am more the type that wants original stories, but I will take what I can get. I somewhat enjoyed this book. I gave it 3 stars. I felt like the writing style wasn't my favorite, so I'm kind of curious about this movie, but again, who are they going to cast? There's a lot of high standards with all of these romance adaptations because I feel like a lot of actors don't meet our expectations in our mind. The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry is becoming a movie. 3000 Pictures bought the rights, and Brett Haley is set to direct, and Yulin Kwong is adapting the screenplay. Brett Haley directed All the Bright Places, which is on Netflix, and I guess he directed an episode of Looking for Alaska. I haven't seen either of those adaptations, but I've heard good things. I also have not read this book. I think I'm going to read it for a specific video. I did read Beach Reads, and I wasn't the biggest fan, but I am willing to give her another chance for her romances. I really liked her YA stuff, specifically A Million Junes. I'm very curious to see who they're going to cast. There is kind of some rumors that they may cast an actor from the Shadow and Bone TV show, which I haven't watched, but I guess he's been commenting on some of Emily's posts and stuff on Instagram, so a lot of people think he might play the male lead. Those are obviously just rumors, but I am curious to see who will end up being casted. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood is becoming a movie. Bizou Pictures will be working on this movie, which is the romance label for MRC Film. And I guess Bizou Pictures recently made Persuasion, the Netflix edition with Dakota Johnson, which I loved. But there's not really any other information about this. There's no director attached or no screenwriter. It did say in the article that Bizou Pictures was really excited to work with Ali Hazelwood on the adaptation, so I don't know if Ali is going to write the screenplay or somebody else, or they're going to co-write it. It's not really clear in the article. It's just kind of announced that it will become a movie. I actually did read this book, and I think I gave it 3 stars. I wasn't a huge fan, but I could see myself actually really liking a movie version of this, so I'm kind of interested in it becoming a movie. The Sinful Wallflower series by Stacey Reed is becoming a TV show. The first book is My Darling Duke, which I have not read. I think I own the 3rd book. I think I was sent the 3rd book. I do plan on reading this series, but I haven't read it yet. There's not much information about this adaptation yet. It just says it's going to be a TV series with Solong Angelique Productions, and that they plan to work with Stacey Reed on the adaptation. I will say I'm surprised that there isn't more historical romance adaptations, especially from the success of Bridgerton. I don't know why they're not picking up on that. I feel like it's the perfect opportunity to ride that wave, so maybe this will continue that wave. Now we're on to some news about some YA adaptations. So first up, we have Fallen by Lauren Cates. It is officially becoming a TV show. It'll be produced by Silver Reel and Night Train Media and co-produced with Globoplay. Globoplay is a Brazilian streaming service, and I guess Fallen will premiere on there. They're actually currently filming the TV show right now. They might actually already be done. I feel like there's not much news about it in general, but they are filming it. We already got lots of casting. I'm going to go through the main 3 actors, but it is officially a TV show. Jessica Alexandra will play Luce. Timothy Ennis will play Cam. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I think it's Hayes Blom. He will be playing Daniel. Like I said, there's a lot more casting, but you can find that in the article. I'm not going to go through all of them. There is kind of like this first official still, which looks great. It looks very like moody and dark. I don't know if it'll premiere on other streaming services, if it's only exclusive to Globoplay, but I'm definitely interested to see how this is going to be as a TV show. I actually liked the movie. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I kind of liked it. It did give me like Twilight vibes, but I enjoyed the movie. I liked the casting for the movie. I also liked the casting for this TV show as well. I think they did a great job. And oddly enough, I didn't really care for the book. I read it years and years ago. I think I also read the sequel, but I never continued the series and I just wasn't a huge fan, but I liked the movie and I will hopefully find somewhere to watch this TV show. My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodie Meadows is becoming a TV show. Amazon Studios will adapt the book for TV, and we actually already got casting. Emily Bader will be playing Lady Jane. Edward Blummel will be playing Lord Guildford Dudley, and Jordan Peters will be playing King Edward. Edward Blummel played Marcus in A Discovery of Witches, and he was also in Killing Eve, and he was in the new Persuasion movie. I love him as an actor. I think he's fantastic, so I'm excited to see him in this. And then Jordan Peters was actually in After Ever Happy. He played Mark, who is Hardin's old friend in London, which I enjoyed his acting in those scenes, so I'm excited to see him in this as well. Emily Bader I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure she's going to do a great job as well. Gemma Burgess and Meredith Glynn are going to be the showrunners. I guess Gemma has worked on Brooklyn Girls and Meredith has worked on The Boys. I really liked this book. I never continued the series, but I really enjoyed this first book and I thought it was very interesting and different, and I really liked the characters. So can't wait to see what they do with this TV show. The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer is becoming an animated movie. Locksmith Animation has optioned the series for film. There is no other news about the adaptation other than it will be in animation. I love this series. I think it's actually going to make a very fun and interesting animated movie, even though a live action film would be fun and I'm sure I'd still love that. I just think animation kind of works better with the story. It's unclear if the whole series is being optioned or if it's just the first book. It does say optioned the series for film, but does that mean multiple films or just one film? Like, are they going to try to compact all of the stories into one movie or do multiple movies? It's kind of unclear on the news with that, but either way I'm interested and I can't wait to see this all in animation. I can't wait to see Scarlet and Wolf. Those are my favorite characters. I can't wait to see them in animation style. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart is becoming a TV show. Amazon Studios picked up the rights for this book and Family of Liars, which is sort of like the sequel or prequel, I guess, and Again by E. Lockhart. They picked up all three of those books, but we got news officially that they are moving forward with this adaptation and that it is currently in production. So Julie Plec and Karina Adley Mackenzie are working on this adaptation, as well as Family of Liars and Again. I guess they're both working on the adaptations together. I guess this adaptation was announced a long time ago, but the recent news about it is that Julie Plec is writing the first episode and then Karina Adley Mackenzie is writing the second episode. So from that news, obviously, it seems like this TV show is going forward and that they are currently going to start working on it. So I'm assuming we'll get casting and stuff soon. I read this book when it came out and I actually really liked it. I am curious to see whether I would like it now if I reread it. I did have Family of Liars on my TBR. It was kind of on my radar, but I never got around to picking it up. Let me know if you've read it and how you feel about it, but I actually liked this book and I do feel like it will make a great TV show. I don't necessarily trust Julie Plec, but I might tune into this one. I don't think I talked about this news, but maybe I have. I don't really remember, so I'm going to talk about it again. But The Ring and the Crown by Melissa de la Cruz is becoming a TV show. This will be a TV show on Disney+. Aaron Harberts and Gretchen J. Berg will be the showrunners. They have also worked on Reign and Revenge, which are two shows that I love. So I kind of have faith that this will be a good TV show. I really liked this book. I read it years ago when it came out. This is definitely a TV show that I will be tuning into, and I can't wait to see who they cast. Now we're on to all of the passionflix related news. It's been a long time since I've updated you guys on passionflix news, so I thought I would just discuss some adaptations that have already come out that I've mentioned kind of in the past and I've had some updates for, but they're officially movies or TV shows now, so you can go watch them. We have Crashed by Kay Bromberg. This is the third book in the Driven series. The third season of Driven is out. It's completed. This series is now done. However, passionflix has been kind of teasing some stuff about the series. I don't know if they're going to continue, because I know, isn't there like another book? I think there's one more book about Riley and Colton. So passionflix has been kind of teasing that, which makes me think that they might make another season or something. So we'll see, but the initial series is wrapped and you can now watch all 3 seasons of Driven. I've also done a video on this, so I will link that down below as well. passionflix did make a movie of Tangled by Emma Chase. This I've also done a video on, so I will link that down below, but this is a movie you can now watch on passionflix. There is a movie for Resisting Roots by Audrey Carlin. I also did a video on this, which I will link down below. I actually really enjoyed this book. The adaptation was all right, but I ended up really liking this book. The adaptation of Gabriel's Rapture is officially done. They split this book into 3 movies and they are all released now. You can go watch them. I did also make a video on this. I did it recently, so I will link that video down below. And then one of their most recent releases is Torn, which is the sequel to Wicked by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I read this series years ago and enjoyed it. I did recently reread the first book for the first movie, which I did make a video on as well. I've yet to reread the second book and watch the second movie, but hopefully I can get to it very soon. So that's everything passionflix has released since the last time I kind of talked about them, I guess. Now I'm going to talk about stuff that they're currently working on. The Secret Life of Amy Benson by Lisa Renee Jones is becoming a passionflix TV show. The first book is called Escaping Reality, and they actually have already wrapped season 1 and season 2. And season 1 is supposed to come out sometime this month. They might already have a date by the time this video goes out, but they are going to release season 1 later this month. They plan to adapt all 4 books, which I'm assuming will be 4 seasons of the TV show, with each season following each book. Maddie McCormick is Amy and Casey King is Liam. And Stasia Crawford directed the first and second season. I haven't read this book yet, but I am planning to read it and watch the TV show and do a whole video on it. Wait With Me by Amy Dawes is becoming a passionflix movie, and they've actually already filmed and wrapped this movie. Andrew Biernat is Miles, and Madison Lawlor is Kate, and Colleen Davy Jeans is the director, who also directed Seduction and Snacks, which I still have not seen yet. I am planning on eventually doing a video on that one, but I still haven't done it yet. I also have not read this book, but I've heard good things about it. I think it kind of blew up on TikTok. Honestly, I love the casting. From everything that the author has shared on her Instagram, I'm actually really excited to read the book and watch the movie. They have started working on Gabriel's Redemption by Sylvain Renard. This is the 3rd book in the Gabriel's Inferno series. I believe they wrapped on all of the Italy scenes, so they went to Italy and already filmed all of those scenes, and they're going to pick back up in Atlanta after the holidays. I'm assuming they're doing it in 3 parts as well, so we will have 3 movies to look forward to. I can't believe I haven't talked about this next one. I feel like so much happened with it, and I'm finally going to talk about it, which is kind of sad because there's no recent updates, but that is This Man by Jodi Ellen Malpez. This is going to be a TV show on passionflix, or maybe it's a movie? I thought it was a TV show. Earlier this year, they actually had already started filming an adaptation of this. They casted people and everything. I think they were like a week into filming, and then the female actress ended up dropping out of the project, she left, and that made them obviously stop production. And I think they were kind of scrambling to find a replacement to play Ava. And I genuinely think they just couldn't find anybody in time, in a short amount of time that they had. Because obviously them scheduling filming, they have certain days to do certain things. So I think they just couldn't find an actress to replace the other actress fast enough. So then they had to completely stop production. They put out a statement on their socials and stuff just saying that the actress dropped out, and then later put out another statement saying that they wanted to give it their all for this adaptation, and they just felt like they couldn't do it at the moment, so that they were going to put this adaptation on pause. As of right now, there is no other news on this adaptation. There's no news whether they will do it next year or not. I'm assuming they will do this after Tosca is done with Gabriel's Redemption. I have a feeling she's going to finish those movies and then she's going to jump back onto this one. Tyler Cook was announced as Jesse. He was casted as Jesse, but in their statement, they said that casting could change and that it's not definite at the time. Obviously, whenever they get to filming this, we will know for sure whether he will continue as Jesse. Personally, I don't really see him as Jesse. He's not really like that attractive to me. I don't know. I don't really see him as Jesse. I kind of pictured, I think his name is Rhett Wellington. I think he played the villain in Gabriel's Inferno. I think he would be the perfect Jesse. He's maybe like a little too young for Jesse, but that was like who I pictured as Jesse. And then we got Tyler Cook and I was like, I'm not really vibing with the casting. I did like the initial actress that they had for Ava, but obviously she didn't want to be a part of the project anymore, so she dropped out, which is fine. I feel like if as an actor you're not comfortable with a project, you might as well leave instead of not giving your all to a project. I'd rather have an actress who's actually dedicated to the role and really wants to play the character. So we'll see what happens with this adaptation. I do hope that they eventually make it, and maybe they will work on it in 2023. Enthrall by Vanessa Fewings is becoming a passionflix movie. Barbara Bailoas will direct the movie, and Bartek Sirlaika will be the director of photography. They have both worked on 365 Days. I feel like this is kind of big for passionflix to have a director who worked with Netflix and had a lot of success at Netflix. Obviously, the 365 Days movies aren't that great, but I did enjoy the directing. I have no idea what this book is about. I honestly have never even seen this book before, which is also very interesting, but I looked at the author on Instagram and she posts a lot of 365 Days related stuff, and like she compares her book to 365 Days, so that's kind of interesting. I will eventually read this book and watch the movie and do a whole video on it. Something About You by Julie James seems to be slowly moving forward. I'm pretty sure I announced this adaptation a long time ago, but Julie James did share on her Facebook, I think, that things are starting to move forward and that she might have some news on this movie soon, and that she is currently writing the screenplay. Haven't read this book yet, but obviously I will read it. So maybe we'll have this adaptation out in 2023. There seems to be a little bit more progression with the Air He Breathes adaptation. Brittany Cherry shared on her Instagram that the first draft of this script is officially done. It would be lovely if they also filmed this next year. I actually read this book earlier this year in a reading vlog. I'll link that down below if you're curious. I did somewhat enjoy this book. I feel like it kind of missed for me a little bit, but I feel like I could really love it as a movie. So I'm excited to see who they're going to cast, and hopefully we'll have more solid news on this movie soon. Passionflix also announced that they are going to do an adaptation of White Lies by Lisa Renee Jones. There's no news on whether this will be a TV show or a movie, but they have optioned it. I haven't read this one either, but I will eventually read it whenever they get around to making it. It's honestly going to be a matter of time before passionflix really hits big and that they actually have one adaptation that has major success. I feel like that was kind of with Tangled. They had a lot of articles writing about that adaptation and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like there's going to be one movie that passionflix works on that's going to literally explode. So I'm curious to see what adaptation that will be. But yeah, I'm excited to see what passionflix does in the future. So that was it for all of the adaptation news that I wanted to talk about today. I hope this video wasn't too long. I wanted to talk about everything quickly, but also give my opinion and thoughts. Let me know if you have read any of the books that are becoming TV shows and movies, and what you thought of them as books and what you hope to see in their adaptations. And like I said earlier, if there are some adaptations that I forgot to talk about or that you want to share with me, go ahead and leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!